What if the very beliefs that make you feel safe are the same ones making you weak? You've been taught to trust the system, to believe that fairness wins, that good intentions protect you, and that people will treat you as you treat them. But somewhere deep inside, you know that's not how the world works. You've seen it, you've felt it. You've been lied to, abandoned, overlooked, not by enemies, but by the very people who were supposed to care. The shock isn't just in what happened, it's in how unprepared you were. Because no one warned you. No one told you that the world is not built on kindness, it's built on power. And those who do not understand this are the first to break. If you want to be unbreakable, you have to stop expecting life to be fair. That's the first hard truth. The world doesn't run on your hopes. It runs on force, strategy, and dominance. That might sound cruel, but it's the most liberating truth you'll ever hear. Because once you stop hoping for justice, you start preparing for reality. You stop waiting to be rescued and start building the strength to rescue yourself. You stop crying over how things should be and start mastering how they are. And in that moment, your weakness begins to die. You can't protect yourself with optimism. You protect yourself with awareness. Awareness of how people think, how they move, what they want, what they'll do to get it. And once you see clearly, you stop being surprised. You stop being wounded. The betrayals still come. The chaos still hits. But you are no longer shocked by it because you've built yourself for war, not peace. You've trained for reality, not fantasy, and that makes you different from everyone else who still clings to illusions. The people around you will think you're too harsh, too guarded, too serious. Let them. While they chase comfort, you're building power. While they seek approval, you're building discipline. While they wait for peace, you're preparing for battle. And one day, when the storm hits, and it always does, they will fall apart while you stand unshaken. Because you didn't build your life on fragile hopes. You built it on truth, on strength, on fire. This is not about becoming cold. It's about becoming clear. Clarity is your foundation. Power is your responsibility. And the moment you choose to see the world as it is, you begin the transformation. The old version of you, the one who begged to be treated right, who waited for someone to understand, who hoped things would get better, that version dies today. In its place rises something stronger, sharper, untouchable. If you've ever felt broken, betrayed, or lost, this is your moment. This is where it begins, the journey to becoming unbreakable. Stay with it, because the further you go, the more dangerous you become, and the more free you'll finally feel. Most people live as emotional hostages and don't even realize it. Their moods rise and fall based on someone else's words. Their confidence disappears with a look, a comment, a moment of silence, and when they don't get the reaction they hoped for, they spiral into self-doubt, into anxiety, into desperation. This is not strength. This is emotional slavery. If someone else can decide how you feel, how you think, or what you believe about yourself, then they own you. And you will never be unbreakable until you take that power back. You cannot control the world, but you can master your response to it. That's where your strength lives. Emotional independence is not a luxury, it is survival. When your happiness depends on others, it becomes fragile. When your self-worth comes from their approval, it becomes negotiable. When your peace needs their attention, you've already lost. You've handed over the keys to your mind, your heart, your life. The truly strong don't need to be validated. They don't chase acceptance. They don't beg to be seen. They see themselves. They define their own worth. And no one gets to rewrite that. When your intention is forged in that fire, nothing can stop you. Not fear, not failure, not rejection, because you are no longer just reacting to life, you are shaping. You are no longer lost. You are locked in. And when you move with that kind of purpose, you intimidate those who are still drifting. Your silence becomes louder than their noise. Your presence becomes heavier than their excuses. This is where you begin to separate. You are no longer part of the crowd. You're building something sharper, deeper, and more deliberate. The world won't understand it, but they will feel it. Because when you move with ruthless clarity, you stop being breakable. You start becoming inevitable. Power is not always about force. It's about perception. The way you carry yourself, the way you speak, the way you look at the world, these things broadcast your strength or expose your weakness long before you act. People judge in seconds. They don't care who you are deep down. They respond to what you project. If you walk into a room unsure of yourself, that insecurity speaks louder than your words. If your body language is soft, your energy scattered, your presence forgotten, you've already lost ground before a single move is made. To become unbreakable, you must master the art of presence. That means controlling the signals you send. It means knowing what to reveal and what to withhold. You don't need to show everything. You don't need to explain yourself. Mystery is power. Silence is power. Simplicity is power. Most people overshare, overtalk, and overexpose themselves because they seek validation. But every time you speak without purpose, you leak strength. Every time you reveal your fears, your dreams, or your intentions to the wrong person, you place weapons in their hands. Strength is not loud. It's contained, it's measured, it's selective. Your presence should be sharp, intentional, and unshakable. You must become the kind of person who makes others adjust their energy in your presence, not because you demand it, but because your self-respect commands it. This begins with how you show up. The way you stand, the way you speak, the way you look people in the eye without flinching, not with arrogance, but with certainty, not with aggression, but with authority. That doesn't come from pretending. It comes from alignment. When your words, actions, and mindset match your mission, you become dangerous. There's no inner conflict, no hesitation, no cracks for doubt to enter. People feel that, and they react accordingly. They either respect it or they try to break it, but either way, they cannot ignore it. Your presence becomes a mirror, either exposing someone's weakness or reflecting their strength. This is not about being fake, it's about being strategic. The world does not reward raw authenticity. It rewards those who know when to reveal and when to conceal. You must learn to read the room, adjust your energy, and control the narrative, not for manipulation, but for protection. Because when your appearance is intentional, you take back control. You're no longer at the mercy of misinterpretation. You shape your image the way a sculptor shapes stone, with precision and patience. The moment you start carrying yourself like someone who cannot be broken, the world will test that image. People will challenge it, doubt it, try to crack it. Let them. That pressure is how you refine your edges. That resistance is how you prove it's real. And once you've owned your presence, once you've trained your posture, your tone, your silence, your image stops being an act. It becomes armor. And with that armor, you walk through life untouched, not invisible, unbreakable. Trust is a currency, rare, valuable, and dangerous when spent too freely. Most people give it away without caution, desperate to believe that loyalty will be returned, that honesty will be honored, that closeness guarantees safety. But that's how they get broken. Not by enemies, not by strangers. By the very people they trusted most. Betrayal doesn't come from across the battlefield. It comes from inside your circle. And every time you hand someone unearned access to your mind, your plans, your emotions, you give them power to destroy you. To become unbreakable, you must learn the discipline of selective trust. That means observing before opening, listening before speaking, testing before committing. You don't owe anyone your vulnerability. You don't owe anyone your loyalty. These things are earned through time, pressure, and consistency. Anyone can pretend when it's easy. Anyone can smile when they need something. But who shows up when there's nothing to gain? Who respects your boundaries when no one is watching? Who stands firm when it costs them? Those are the people you trust. But even then, only in layers. Most weakness is self-inflicted. It comes from speaking too quickly, from revealing too much, from needing too badly to be understood. You must train yourself to be comfortable in silence. Let others reveal themselves first. Let them speak while you listen. Let them show you who they are without interference. And when they do, believe it. Stop rewriting red flags into potential. Stop making excuses for patterns. If someone shows you they cannot be trusted, don't try to fix it. Just remove access. Remove access. Trust once broken becomes a lesson, not a wound to dwell in, but a standard to rise with. The goal isn't to become paranoid. It's to become intentional. Guard your peace like it's sacred. Protect your focus like it's gold. You're not obligated to explain your boundaries. You're not weak for keeping your distance. You're wise, because the strongest people are not the most open. They are the most discerning. This is where your inner power sharpens. When you no longer crave to be liked, you become impossible to manipulate. When you no longer rush to connect, you become immune to betrayal. When you no longer expect others to carry your truth, you start to carry it yourself. With pride, with strength, with absolute control. And that control becomes your defense, your quiet shield in a loud, reckless world. You will be tested, people will push. They will try to pull you in, then rip you apart. But they will fail. Because you've built gates, not walls. You've built standards, not chains. And only those who match your strength will ever earn your access. Everyone else will face the quiet consequence of being denied. That's not cruelty, that's self-respect. And with every layer of trust you reclaim, you take another step away from being breakable and another step closer to becoming untouchable. Softness is a trap when it becomes your default. Comfort dulls your instincts. Ease weakens your edge. Every time you choose what feels good over what builds you, you train yourself to break under pressure. The truth is, you were not designed for constant comfort. You were built for challenge. You were built for war. And the more you avoid the discomfort of discipline, the more fragile you become when life forces pain on you, because pain always comes. And when it does, only those who've trained in it will survive it. The unbreakable don't fear discomfort, they seek it. They use it. They chase it because they know that behind pain is power. Behind resistance is growth. Behind every uncomfortable choice is another layer of strength being forged. Most people run from this. They hide in distraction, in entertainment, in excuses. But every time you avoid the hard thing, you trade long-term power for short-term relief, and that trade always leads to weakness. Real transformation doesn't come from comfort, it comes from confrontation with your laziness, with your fear, with your softness. You break it not once, but every single day. You wake up and do what's difficult not because you feel like it, but because you've made a decision. Your future will not be ruled by the weaknesses of your past. You train your body to move when it wants to rest. You train your mind to focus when it wants to drift. You train your will to act when it wants to freeze. That training becomes your foundation. And in time, it becomes your weapon. You don't need permission to harden. You need repetition. Cold showers, early mornings, heavy lifts, long silence, tight discipline. These aren't trends, they're rituals. Every time you choose discomfort with intention, you're rewriting your identity. You're reminding yourself that you are in control, not your cravings, not your fatigue, not your fear, you. And that control compounds. It grows, it becomes who you are, and when life hits, when the betrayal comes, when the plan fails, when the storm rises, you will not shatter. You've been here before. You've suffered on purpose. You've bent your mind through pressure and pain until breaking was no longer an option. And now, while others panic, you remain still. While others quit, you keep moving. Because your suffering wasn't wasted, it was practiced. The world respects those who endure. Not because they are emotionless, but because they are forged, built, conditioned. The fire did not consume them, it refined them. You don't get that kind of strength by accident. You earn it through every choice no one sees, every rep no one applauds, every hard moment you refuse to escape. That's how you earn the title of unbreakable, not by saying it, by living it. And the more you embrace the pain now, the less anything can control you later. The storm may come, but you are already the storm. The ones who survive chaos are not the loudest. They are not the ones who scream, panic, or beg. They are the ones who stay still. When the world spirals, they remain centered. When emotions surge, they stay grounded. That control doesn't come from luck. It comes from training. Detachment is not indifference. It's mastery. It means you are no longer pulled in every direction by every trigger, every insult, every shift in energy. You've stopped being a slave to the storm and become the eye of it. You must learn to step outside your own reactions, observe your thoughts without obeying them, feel your emotions without collapsing under them. This is where your real power begins, not in brute strength, but in restraint, in the ability to pause, to think, to act on purpose, not impulse. Most people are ruled by what they feel. They lash out when they're angry, shut down when they're hurt, retreat when they're afraid. But every time you react without control, you give power away. You surrender your throne to chaos. And chaos never leads. It only destroys. You are not your feelings. You are the one watching them. And the more you practice detachment, the more you begin to lead your own life. You stop over-explaining, over-apologizing, overreacting. You stop leaking energy on things that don't matter. Not everything deserves a response. Not every situation requires your fire. Sometimes the greatest show of strength is calm. Sometimes the most powerful move is no move at all. That silence isn't weakness. It's dominance. When you detach, you see things clearly. You recognize manipulation. You spot desperation. You avoid traps. You feel the shift in energy before it becomes a storm. You don't get pulled into drama. You don't need to prove yourself. You know who you are, and that's enough. That kind of clarity cuts deeper than any insult. That kind of control commands respect without demanding it. Quest. It's not about being emotionless. It's about being unshakable. You still feel, you still care, but those feelings are yours now, not weapons others can use, not distractions that pull you off course. You respond with precision, you move with intention. And when others lose control, you gain the advantage. You see the opening, you take the lead, you rise while they fall apart. Every moment you stay composed, you gain ground. Every time you resist the urge to overreact, you sharpen your discipline. Every breath you take before speaking builds your dominance. You become someone others look to in crisis, someone who can't be rattled, someone who holds the line when others break. That's what makes you rare, or that's what makes you feared, and that's what makes you free. You are no longer ruled by the noise of the world. You've mastered the silence within, and when you own that silence, nothing from the outside can shake the fortress you've built inside. That's the edge. That's the standard. That's the mark of the unbreakable. Kindness without boundaries becomes self-destruction. Compassion without judgment becomes exploitation. You weren't made to save everyone. You weren't built to absorb the pain of those who refuse to grow. The world will try to convince you that your worth lies in how much you give, how much you tolerate, how much you endure for others. But that's not strength. That's surrender. And if you give too much to the wrong people, you'll wake up empty, bitter, and broken. Not because you didn't care, but because you never learned to stop. Being unbreakable doesn't mean you lack empathy. It means you direct it with precision. You see the difference between someone who is struggling and someone who is draining you. Between those who want help and those who want to be rescued from responsibility. You don't just feel, you discern, you choose where to invest your time, your energy, your heart. That choice is not cold. That choice is sacred. Because your compassion is valuable, and anything valuable must be protected. Most people are trained to believe that saying no is selfish, that walking away is cruel, that protecting your energy is harsh. But the truth is, weakness says yes to everything. Weakness stays in situations that deplete it. Weakness gives and gives until there's nothing left to give. You were not created to be a bottomless well for other people's chaos. You were here to build, to lead, to rise. And you cannot do that if your strength is constantly being siphoned by those who refuse to rise with you. Learn to say no without guilt. Learn to walk away without looking back. Learn to love without losing yourself. You can care and still keep your distance. You can help and still hold your standards. You can forgive and still close the door, not out of hate, out of wisdom, out of clarity, out of self-respect. Because you finally understand that being good does not mean being used. Selective compassion is a weapon. It allows you to give fiercely to those who've earned it, while protecting yourself from those who haven't. It allows you to lead with strength, not sympathy. You do not need to rescue everyone. You do not need to fix anyone. You are not here to carry the weight of those who refuse to stand on their own. You're here to rise, to sharpen, to protect the fire inside you from being smothered by the needs of those who refuse to light their own. This is your responsibility now, to filter your kindness through wisdom, to channel your heart through strength, and to recognize that your energy is not infinite. It's an investment. Spend it where it grows, withhold it where it drains, and never apologize for protecting what makes you powerful. Because once your compassion is no longer a weakness, it becomes unstoppable foe. It becomes precise, and in that precision, you step fully into what it means to be unbreakable. Everything you've built, your silence, your strength, your discipline, your clarity, it means nothing if you still depend on the world to protect you. You must become your own fortress. Because as long as your peace, your power, your identity rests in someone else's hands, you are not free. And if you're not free, you can be broken. The unbreakable are not born that way. They are built, forged, layer by layer, standard by standard. They stop outsourcing their safety and start becoming the source of it. No more waiting for someone to understand you. No more hoping for others to respect you. No more leaning on the idea that things will eventually fall into place. Things fall apart. People fall short. Promises are broken. Life shifts without warning. And in those moments, the ones who shatter are the ones who never learn to stand alone. You are not one of them. You are not here to be dependent. You are not here to be fragile. You are here to be unmovable. A wall no one can climb. A core no one can corrupt. You do this by building yourself inward, not outward. Outward power fades. Outward status can be taken. But inward dominance, that is untouchable. It begins with your standards, what you allow, what you tolerate, what you expect. You raise them so high that only those with real strength can even reach the gates. You stop inviting chaos into your world and then blaming it for the damage. You own every decision, every step, every outcome. That ownership is hard. It's heavy, but it is the price of true power. Your habits become the bricks. Your boundaries become the walls. Your self-respect becomes the shield. You no longer flinch when you're doubted. You no longer shrink when you're tested. You no longer explain when your silence says more. You've chosen solitude over noise, discipline over desire, respect over popularity. And with every choice, you add another layer of armor no one else can provide. But a fortress is not just protection, it's a launch pad. Once you've secured the inside, the outside stops controlling you. You act when others hesitate. You rise when others break. You think clearly when others are blinded by panic. Because you've trained for the storm, you've chosen the fire. And now nothing that comes from outside of you can weaken what's been built within you. This is the difference between pretending to be strong and becoming it, between acting unbothered and truly being untouchable. You've shed the version of yourself that begged to be chosen. You've buried the identity that needed to be saved. You are not a product of protection. You are a product of transformation. And now you are the shield. You are the fire. And you are the fortress. And when the world tests you, it will not find a victim. It will find a force. Unshaken, unmoved, unbreakable, you will face moments that seem too heavy, too overwhelming. When life pushes you to the edge, when everything seems against you, when failure knocks louder than success ever could, the question is not whether it hurts, it's how you respond. Those moments are your true test. They are not obstacles. They are invitations. Invitations to rise. To show the world not who you are when things are easy, but who you are when things break. When everything falls apart, the unbreakable don't crumble. They rebuild. Strength doesn't lie in avoiding pain. Strength lies in enduring it and still moving forward. It lies in knowing that even when your knees are weak, you rise again. Even when the world tells you no, you choose to stand. Not because you're invulnerable, but because you know that pain is temporary, but growth is eternal. And every time you overcome it, you become stronger. It's not the wounds that define you. It's how you choose to heal them. The unbreakable are not immune to pain. They are immune to defeat. They understand that failure is not an end, but a part of the process. They know that rejection is not a reflection of their worth. It's simply a stepping stone towards something greater. Every time they fall, they don't stay down. They rise faster, stronger, more focused. They are not defined by their setbacks. They are defined by their ability to stand again. When the weight of the world feels unbearable, it's not about finding a way out. It's about finding the strength to carry the weight. You don't seek escape from hardship. You seek the power to face it head on. You don't pray for things to get easier. You pray for strength to endure. And in that endurance, you find your real power. Not in avoiding challenges, but in facing them, in turning every moment of pressure into an opportunity to sharpen yourself. The harder the battle, the stronger the warrior. And with every battle you win, you become harder to break. The world may try to break you, but it doesn't understand the foundation you've built. The more it tries to pull you down, the more you push back. Every challenge becomes fuel. Every disappointment becomes a lesson. Every setback becomes a blueprint for success. You don't just survive the storm. You become the storm. You can't control every circumstance. You can't prevent every hardship, but you can control how you respond. You can control whether you choose to collapse under pressure or rise with purpose. The unbreakable know that power is not given. It is earned. It's earned by doing the hard work, by showing up when others quit, by pushing yourself when others stay comfortable. It's earned by refusing to be broken time and time again. And in that refusal, you become the kind of person who cannot be shaken. Because when you've faced everything the world has thrown at you and still chosen to rise, nothing can stop you. You are the unbreakable force the world will never see coming. Strength is not merely the sum of your victories, but the unwavering resolve to persist when every fiber of your being cries out for surrender. You have come to a point where every decision matters, where every breath you take forges a part of your future that no one can steal. In moments when doubt surfaces and obstacles loom large, remember that it is in these crucibles that you are remade. This internal forge burns away excuses and reveals the core of who you are, a powerhouse destined to defy limitations. The world may seek to dim your light with criticism, rejection, and fear, but these dark forces only serve as fuel to ignite the fire within. Each setback is a challenge designed to strengthen your resolve, each tear and scar a testament to your unyielding spirit. You stand at a crossroads where falling back means losing yourself to a narrative of weakness, and stepping forward demands an embrace of hardship as a path to undeniable greatness. When pain strikes, let it remind you that you are alive, that every trial has a purpose. Harness your inner voice that whispers of potential, not limitation. Let it become a roar that drowns out the echoes of doubt. The journey ahead is yours to command, and every obstacle is merely a stepping stone. Your mind, refined through adversity, is your most potent weapon. It is in its clarity and discipline that you find the courage to rise above the chaos. Failure is not defeat, it is a momentary pause before a triumphant return. In the silence after a storm, within the calm, after the furious winds, you rebuild stronger than before, impervious to the machinations of fate. Embrace this transformative power with relentless passion, and know that every sacrifice you make, every moment you choose discipline over indulgence, cements your unbreakable nature. The challenges you face are not signs of your inadequacy, but affirmations of your journey toward becoming a force greater than yourself. Only by accepting the inevitability of struggle can you unlock the extraordinary resilience hidden within. With each act of perseverance, you define your destiny, cast aside the fears that chain you, and step boldly into a future where limitations dissolve in the wake of your determination. Let the battles you endure sculpt your character, making you not just resistant, but formidable. In that self-forged might, you become indifferent to doubters, undeterred by naysayers, and utterly resolute in your pursuit of greatness. Understand that the essence of your power lies not in fleeting praise or temporary success, but in the relentless quest to rise every time you fall. This unwavering commitment to self-mastery transforms you from a mere participant into an unstoppable force. In the crucible of challenge, your spirit evolves into the true embodiment of resilience and strength. Each struggle etches a deeper imprint of courage in your soul, revealing the extraordinary force within you. Let every hardship carve the enduring monument of your unbreakable will and ignite your destiny.